Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. Hope you guys are having a great day and welcome to a very controversial video. Today we're going to be talking about a hotfix that came out last night and everybody has been talking about it because this is one of the craziest changes that they've ever put into Wizard101, especially in relation to PvP, but honestly this is a big deal. Now I'm going to be covering specifically what you see in the title and the thumbnail, which is the fact that if you're muted, you are now banned from PvP, you're even banned from Pet Derby. There are other changes and spell changes. I will be making a video on that tomorrow, so make sure you turn on notifications for that, but let's get right into it. What are you talking about, Sauce? What are you talking about this ban thing? What are you talking about this mute thing? Oh, what are you talking about? Well, basically, right, there was a hotfix yesterday, and they basically put out patch notes, and the patch notes said that if you have an actual long-term mute on your account, you will be unable to queue in Wizard101. You will not be able to PvP against somebody else in Wizard101. This is probably the biggest consequence I've ever seen to actually being toxic. Because here's the thing, right? Let's say that you were openly toxic. Let's take those types of people, right? And you got muted for it. Nothing has ever really stopped someone, for most of the game, from just making an alt account, hopping into the arena, doing PvP, and just talking a lot of wet on the alt account. And that's if they happen to get muted, if they happen to say some things. I've seen so many people say so many things on their alt accounts that, like you would assume by then they would just get IP banned. No, a lot of people, what they do, they're just toxic on one account, move on to another one. They did do a change where you have to be a certain level to talk in the arena, but some of these people are so openly obsessed with being toxic that they just leveled up those characters on which they could talk. And then they were, I don't know, level 5, level 8, whatever it was. They went into the arena, talked more trash. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there was no solution in place until today in terms of limiting how people could be toxic in PvP. And this is a big issue, y'all. I've heard a lot of people talk about their issues with PvP. The number one thing that always comes up, PvP is toxic. And I hate that. I really do. I hate it. You know, as someone who does it every night, it kind of hurts to hear. You know, it's like maybe people say things in a competitive spirit. Maybe people say things in the heat of the moment. But it is sad that people have taken it to the point of harassing verbally, doing things that are way against TOS. Some people go as far as getting people's real life involved over PvP. I can see why people think PvP is toxic. So let's talk about the solution that they put into place. Basically, if you have any sort of mute on your account that was given to you manually by the CS team, you're not allowed to queue. Why am I wording it like that? It's because they actually did think this out somewhat. I'm not going to talk about how this is the best solution ever. Don't worry, watch the whole video. Let's talk about some of the things that they did get right, in my opinion. One thing is that if you get spam reported and you get an automatic mute, which is a thing in this game, literally, it's happened to me before. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people before. If you're automatically muted, if you got spam reported to that point, from what I can tell, it does not affect your ability to queue in PvP. That means if you're a streamer and you get spam reported, you can still queue in PvP as long as you're not saying things that are toxic. Likewise, and I think this is honestly even more important, if you're a streamer and you're false reporting somebody or even mistakenly reporting someone and it drives other people to report that person, there aren't consequences beyond a very temporary mute and they will still be able to queue. And I think that's really important. As someone who streams, I don't want to be responsible for accidentally being a part of preventing someone from queuing in PvP. I think that would be really bad, actually. So I'm really glad that they did that. Not just because I'm a streamer and I don't want to get reported, but because I don't want me reporting someone to turn into them getting banned, especially because I'll be wrong sometimes. But that doesn't mean that this is just like, the vast majority of people that are muted are not muted because they got spam reported. So those people are what I think this video should really be about. I think that's the center of this entire problem around how do you make PvP as little toxicity as possible. That was not a sentence. You know what I'm talking about. So the people that this ban from queue or suspension from queue, I guess, since when they're not muted anymore, they're the ones who are going to be able to do it, right? They're the ones that are getting affected by this. That means there's no automated process that's preventing someone from queuing. Again, I would like verification on this. This is just what I've heard. This is what I've collected a lot of details. I've tried to look at different accounts. I've reached out to people. This is what I've heard. What does that mean? That means that if it's not just spam reporting, it means if the auto filter catches you slipping up, I don't think you can actually get prevented from queuing up off of that. These are people who have gotten an actual mute handed to them manually by the CS team after they've gotten reported multiple times. But I will say this, even in that group of people, there might be some people that said a word that sounded like another word that isn't that word. Like, there are gray areas. No matter how many things that they put into place, there will be people that cannot queue in PvP that should be able to queue in PvP. There are currently, I guarantee this to you, it's just a matter, it's a numbers game, right? There are people who've gotten falsely muted that are unable to queue in PvP. I don't know on a case-by-case basis how many people this is, but those people should 100% be able to appeal their mute. 100%. And they not only should this be like a fair process, it should be a quick process. I have to say this, time needs to be a factor in this. I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago. If I said something in Wiz chat that earned me a 10-year mute for whatever reason they have a 10-year mute for, I don't think that should affect my ability to queue in PvP 5 years later. Yes, maybe I said something really, really dumb. I don't know. I don't know what people say 5 years ago, right? But those types of people, I feel like, are in another category compared to those who have spent, for example, the last month spewing random nonsense to everybody in the arena. If KingsIsle had a good track record with their CS department and their appeal process for reports, and honestly just their customer support in general, I'd feel a lot better about this update. I think the people that are extremely toxic are gonna get caught here. I just think the people that maybe are accidentally or maybe even innocently toxic years and years ago by accident, like there really are ways that you can say things in the text chat that come off wrong, you feel me? And sometimes, you know, people get reported falsely, right? Those are the people that I'm worried about. I also really question this idea of actually using muting as a way to punish people in terms of their ability to do PvP. I think that if you do something bannable, then you should be prevented from doing PvP. I think if you exploit something like the disconnect timer, you should be allowed to PvP. I think what I'm a little nervous about is what if you just did something completely unrelated to PvP, right? You got to mute for that. Why does that connect to PvP all of a sudden, right? Is it just to make PvP less toxic, more inviting? Maybe, and there's a good argument for that. I do think this is a very broad brush approach, right? It's one of those things. People call it a band-aid fix, right? Could it be a good fix? Yes. But that means that the appeal process for people who are banned from PvP currently from doing PvP, that has to be A1. I hope that they have more people on it than usual. I hope that they're more receptive. I hope that they're more open-minded. Most importantly, I hope the people that are truly toxic, the people that are truly the ones using Wizard101 chat to verbally harass people, I hope that their asses stay banned, bro. Every other game has standards for this, and I think this needs to be said too. You know, as much as I want to be on the side of players being able to say whatever they want, some people genuinely take it too far. I've been a personal, like listen, the things that I've seen and heard directed towards me, it's crazy sometimes. The screenshots that have been sent to me the past few weeks of people who not only exploit, but also say things that are purely racist, vile, and should not be allowed in this game. Those people have gotten away from getting reported or having any consequences for ages. Those people need to keep getting banned. I don't think they should ever be allowed to do something in this game again. The biggest issue that I have with this, beyond just the fact that potentially innocent or accidental like mutes that have been handed out are having more consequences than before, I think that's a big issue. The other thing is, I just think that a PvP suspension or a PvP ban should be related to what you do in PvP. I think that if you're toxic in Wiz, like farming or something, then you shouldn't be able to do team up, for example. There needs to be a relationship between what you did and the punishment. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't make sense. This might actually prevent some people from doing PvP for a mistake that they made years ago. And that's the real issue I have. I think it's really sad that the problem with actual toxicity in the arena has gotten to the point where this is the type of solution that they're going after. I genuinely think this could have been prevented if people were just a little bit more mature and a little bit more thoughtful about what they typed in the game. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to give my opinions on this. I also wanted to clarify some of the things that I've heard a lot of people talking about that didn't seem to be true. Again, if I'm wrong, I will make another video about this, talking about how I'm wrong, trust me. But I don't think people that are getting spam reported can be Q banned. I don't even think any automated process can prevent you from queuing in PvP, and that's a good thing. I just think the real issue, as I've said multiple times here, are the people that aren't toxic to the point where maybe they should be banned. Maybe they just did something a long time ago. I feel like this affects more people than it should. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like that they're doing stuff like this? I mean, in some ways, you know, you want a more enjoyable experience. You just don't want the wrong people to be taken down for the sake of it, you know? And I think there's an important conversation to be had about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you are muted, especially if you think that you shouldn't be muted, please please appeal it. I want as many people that actually have the best interest in the game to play the game. I think that's what we all want. So I hope that works. I hope they do a good job with this. Some part of me thinks they won't, but I really do hope, man. If not, maybe they can revert it and at the very least learn from this and, I don't know, maybe put a good system in place. I don't know. I'm just rooting for the game to be enjoyable, bro. That's all I want. Let me know what y'all's opinions are in the comments, man. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you're muted, or maybe if you haven't been muted and you haven't done PvP because of toxicity, and maybe this will drive you to do it. There's a lot of ways to look at this one, and I want to hear everyone's comment. I'll be reading every comment in the description, in the comment section, all that, so drop a comment, please. As always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong, so stay awesome. And yeah, y'all.